Major Bell, thank you for seeing me today, and read both your books, and I'm going to put them on the screen as we talk about them. But I want to personally thank you because you taught me so much about law enforcement and the military that I had no idea about. So I wanted to thank you for that. And your first book, Wind Across the Rails, right? What was the reason to write that? But what did you want to happen once you wrote that book with the people?
Well, I've always been for the underdog, and Wind Across the Rails, of course, is a story of my life. Some of it is based on my life, and I just wanted to get out there to the people where no matter what your lot in life is, like I was orphaned at age 5, no mama, no daddy, lived with a sick grandma, had to raise my own little brother. That doesn't mean you can't become successful. I mean, I'm a high school dropout because when my grandma died, I didn't have nowhere to live. And so I joined the military at age 17. And a couple months later, I was in the combat zone at age, wishing I was back in Professor Ratliff's civics class. But I wrote that, and Wind Across the Rails tells the story. It's about DeQuincy, but I called it Rail Town in the book because this is a rail city, train city. There's trains coming through here every 10 minutes. You'll hear one in a minute. And this was a big railroad center. My real father, who died in 1950 when I was 5 years old, was one of the original railroad detectives for the Kansas City, and he caught pneumonia. And he got down real sick, and then my mother left. She left for parts unknown, and I stayed next door with my grandma. And I remember listening to him cry in pain, and old Dr. George Lyons had come by and give him a shot. But I remember as a little 3-year-old kid, my grandma would give me a jar of water, ice water, to take over to him. I called my daddy Clarence, that was his name. Because there was no real, because I was taken out of that household and put with my grandma at age about 3.5.
Sure. And
then he died at age 5. I barely remember going to the funeral. My little brother was too young, he didn't go. Okay. He was 2 years younger than me. I'm going to the funeral. I live with my grandma. So I just wanted to get that story out, and it's 60 years of adventure and travel, and it all started when my grandma, we'd sit on the front porch. She had an old box of National Geographic magazines, and I would look through that, and I'd see the Arabian deserts and the mountains and the jungles of the big seas, and I thought to myself, someday I want to see all that. I want to be part of that. My grandma always said, "You can, Jerry. You can do all that." And I'm thinking, maybe, because my lot in life, we were real poor. I mean, looking for food every day.
Yes.
In fact, me and Harry Mevins used to walk all the way to school early in the morning to put the chairs off the table, and we got 2 cookies and a box of milk, and that was our breakfast.
And Harry Methvins was your good friend. He was my English teacher in high school.
Yeah, he was my friend for 72 years. I loved Harry. We used to pull ourselves in a little red wagon on Smith Street. And then my adopted father, Reverend Jack Bell, Baptist minister, had Hargroves Bible Baptist Church out there. So we went to church out there, and me and Harry, like from age 5 on up. Okay. Harry was a adult Sunday school teacher there for 50 years.
Did not know that.
He was great. Everybody loved Harry.
He's a wonderful teacher.
Yeah, he was kind of like the mayor of Hargrove Settlement. That's what we joked about it. But we played together. We played baseball together. I mean, we walked that 4 miles from Hargroves up to the ball fields, and all the other little kids were going by on their little motorbikes and cars, and me and Harry was walking. But that made me strong. Exactly. That made me willed not to be poor. And of course, Harry, I might be wealthy in dollars, land and stuff like that, but Harry was way more wealthier than me in friends. He had so many friends. We couldn't go anywhere. We'd be at a mall in Beaumont, and there'd be people come up hugging him at 50 years old saying, Mr. Mevins, you taught me at St. Louis and you did this, and you come visited my daddy when he was dying and you did this. And
Yes.
the other day I was at my cancer doctor's, Dr. Fredericks, and he said, you know, Harry come visited my father when he was very bad sick. I said, well, Harry did stuff like that. He was a friend to everyone.
Yes.
Very poor man. He never wanted any riches or anything like that. What I was able to do, me and my wife, what I was able to do for Harry was we bought all his appliances. We did everything for him. And he was such a wise guy. We'd be sitting there watching TV, and Harry would say something like, I wish my TV hadn't went out. I knew I was heading to the mall the next day, because my wife loved Harry Mevins. So we did ice boxes, TVs, stoves, bedroom. We did everything for him. And it was a good feeling to be able to do that.
Yes.
Because everywhere in the world where I went, Harry showed up. The one guy from DeQuincy that showed up, and I just, he was my friend for 72 years. This will be my going on second Christmas without him, so it'll be a sad time for me. But Harry was a true Christian, and his whole family was. And for years and years after I come back, retired out of the military, we would meet at his house every Sunday. His whole family would be there, and we would have a big meal. It was kind of like the Waltons.
Nice. Yeah.
And we did it, and we did that up to a couple years ago, and then we started going to Vance's house, and then some of Harry's nephews.
Yes.
But
great family.
Yeah, great family. I consider his mama like my mama, also my Aunt Tish Mevins. And, so that's the deal with me and Harry. We just, from age 5 on up to when he died a couple years ago.
Yes.
In a bad car wreck.
Thank you.
Harry, at the time Harry died, he was hurting so bad with his back, he couldn't do we'd go out and mow his yard, of course, and clean his house for him. And he was hurting so bad, I think the Lord just called him on.
Exactly.
And
that's the way I see it.
We had a big funeral, a horse-grown cat.
I know, yes.
I've got pictures there. That was some sort of everybody in the world. We had to have it at the big Pentecostal church.
Yes.
We're talking 1,000 people.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody came.
My wife and I came,
And it was,
just amazing.
He had this wonderful lawyer named Minaldi that used to do all of Harry's. He did all of Harry's legal stuff for him. He loved Harry like a son.
Oh, yeah.
He told me one night Harry drove in a blinding rain at 12 o'clock at night one night to come be with him when either his mom or daddy died. I forget which one.
Yes.
But that,
because his mom worked in the office at St. Louis.
Yes. And every year all the St. Louis people would come to Harry's once a year and meet. I'm talking about Judge Ezel and all of them. But what they don't know is me and my wife spent 3 days cleaning them houses up before they come. So it wasn't there. We cleaned it, we got the food ready, and we did everything. And that was a blessing for us to do that. In fact, we were at Harry's house every Saturday morning for 33 years. We just, when I was here in town, that was part of we just loved being out there with Harry and talk, and we'd sit before the fireplace and
that's great memories. That's
good memories. And they say if you go through life, you could probably count the number of true friends on your hand.
Yes.
I probably got 2. I have a lot of good acquaintances, people I like in the military and stuff like. I never see them again. Because I don't do the Facebook thing. I don't want nobody in the Middle East to know where I'm at, to be honest with you. But so that's the deal with me and Harry.
Thank you for
and that's why I wrote the book. And DeQuincy is actually famous for its black folks.
In what way?
Well, we had the tallest woman in the world, Dolores Pouillard. We had the first black railroad engineer, and we had Babyface Page, the first globetrotter from the state of Louisiana. His mama was a principal, and every year when he'd come in, she'd bring all us cops over and we'd eat with them and stuff like that. So I want that to come in the book.
Definitely.
And we had one of the first black, I think you met him over at the thing, Amos Jones, one of the first black cops in this part of the world was him, and then Harry Lee. And later on it turned into his other friend, Edsel Johnson. So I've been partnered with black officers all my life, and they had to overcome a lot of adversities, because back in the 60s, this is a good Christian town here, but back in the 60s, we had 25 nightclubs here. This is what we call a wet.
Yes,
a wet city, and everybody around Starks, all of them, Bulgard, they all come here on Friday and Saturday night.
Because everything was dry outside of.
And you know how many police officers we had? One, me. 25 nightclubs. And I think my biggest arrest was 32 on one Friday night. And the mayor.
Where did you put them?
I jammed them in the cells because look, the mayor would come up at 12 and have night court. We had original night court.
I heard about, yes.
And he would run them out because the fines wasn't $10, $15 for drunk fight.
Right.
And he'd get them out so they could go do their pup wooding and stump shooting the next day.
Yes.
So we had one of the original night courts here, and it was kind of like a kangaroo court because I wouldn't arrest nobody if they didn't. And I'd go drag them up before the old city hall, and he'd say guilty, not guilty, and they'd say not guilty, and he'd say, Jerry, are they guilty? Yes, sir. I wouldn't arrest. Bam, $15. And there's a lot of stories in my book about.
Yes.
And that's all. Those are all true. I mean, it's like
amazing.
Mayberry. We had our own Otis that'd come lock his own self up. I mean. So I wasn't really. I just come back from the war. And I was a Green Beret and all that stuff, and that's what my new book that's going to come out in April, Railtown Blues, is going to be about this Green Beret that come back to his town. And it was real bad, cocaine everywhere and all that, and he had to kind of straighten it up.
Yes.
And there was two cartels, one out of New Orleans and one out of Houston, that was vying for this area up here.
Yes.
And so I won't tell you too much more. I want you to read it when it comes
Sure,
out.
definitely. I cannot wait.
I'm up to 40 chapters now, and it's going to be about 75 chapters. So that's my latest endeavor.
I can't wait. Thank you.
I'm what you call a hyperthymistic.
What is it?
Hyperthymism is a person that can never forget nothing. Now you would think that was great, but did you remember? But also remember all the dead bodies, everything in wars and stuff like that.
So that's how you're able to write.
Yeah, I wrote that in just a week from my mind. And
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah, and the other thing is I'm also a polyglot. One time I was up to 6 different languages, and I could actually be on a flight to Turkey or be on a flight to Nicaragua or I speak Spanish anyway, and I'd study for 8 hours that book. When I hit the ground, I could
You're
speak.
there. Okay.
I couldn't be no translator in the United Nations, but I could talk.
Yes.
So the basic languages I have are English, French, Spanish, Italian, German, and I did used to speak Vietnamese pretty good. And the military trained me. I was we call it counterintelligence agent, but in the military I was like a spy. I've been to all the best spy schools. I've been to the Forum. I can't talk about the Forum, but
Right.
you can
But it's
Google
called
it.
the Forum.
Called the Forum, and I've been to Holleberg, and I've been to Huachuca. I've been to all the spy schools because I look like a spy. I had long black hair. You can see up there my code name was the Turk, and I think I have a picture.
You have that, yes.
Yeah, and a very, very high-ranking person gave me that code. Everybody in Delta Force had a like that 4-star general you just looked in that Bible a while ago.
Yes.
His code name was Coyote, and we didn't use our real names. And I was the Turk because I had long black hair and a beard, and I did a lot of work in Istanbul and Ankara, and can't get into that, but I was known as the Turk.
Okay.
And I was also known as an Eagle agent. In other words, they sent me out by myself to do things, and ahead of things that was going to happen.
Okay.
And I'm talking about a lot of stuff in the Cold War, which was more dangerous for me than the real wars, because I was in East Germany by myself, and then me and another agent, we developed rat lines and safe houses and stuff during the Serbian-Yugoslavian war.
That's
I was
right.
into that. His code name.
A little bit of that is in the book.
Yes, just a little bit, Ivan.
Yes.
And I thought Ivan got killed because last time I seen him, he was heading deeper in, and they called me back for another mission. I didn't see him for years and years and years, so I thought they got him.
Yes.
And then I just happened to be somewhere talking to someone. They said, "Yeah, he made it. He come back." So
That was my big question when reading your book, and you answered it at the end. I was so happy to hear that.
yeah, I was too, because he was a great guy, and he, between my 6 languages and his Slavic, Russian, Polish, Czechoslovakian languages, they could send me and Ivan anywhere in the world, and we could take care of problems. So we went on a lot of missions together, and but getting back to the book, I just wanted to write that book, to tell about some of the ways it was back here in the 60s, and I've always been for the underdog, because I was an underdog.
Exactly. Yes.
I remember when I was 5 years old, I had a little dog named Tracy, a little white puppy, sitting on the porch. Well, every afternoon at 5 o'clock, right across the field from Smith Street over here, I was living in an old wooden shack. The DeQuincy Police Department, at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon, they got all the dogs and cats they'd picked up, and they shot them. And I could hear them dogs squealing, and I could hear them, and I'd grab my little dog and hold him, and I said, one of these days, I'm going to be somebody where I can stop that. And I did. I came back. I willed myself to come back here, and I come back here. I've been chief of police. I've been chief of detectives. I've been mayor, part-time city.
And all this was after your military service,
Yes,
right?
yes. I willed myself to come back here and make sure nothing like that would ever happen again.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm real big on animal protection. To this day, I'll ride around myself. If I see a dog that's tied up with a little tiny chain or a heavy, I'll call animal control.
Thank you.
I cannot stand for any animal to be abused. That hurts me.
Yes.
You know, humans have the way to go this way or this way, but poor little animals.
They are dependent.
I can only do it in this this little area right here, but I'll guarantee you there ain't none of it going on to Quincy, Louisiana.
That's wonderful.
Right now I do 5 jobs for the city. I'm the assistant chief of police, the chief of detectives, the emergency manager, the translator for several languages, and I do public affairs for the city. I'm the public relations guy.
Okay.
So that's the 5 jobs.
Do you travel for any of the public affairs?
Well, I travel to Lake Charles.
Okay.
I belong.
That's as far as you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as PR, I'm in, like I'm commander of the American Legion. I'm in the VFW.
Okay.
Associate with the Rodeo Club. I was Chamber of Commerce president for 7 years.
Okay.
So I stay busy because when I left the Delta Force, we all had our own personal psychiatrist.
Yes.
Mine was a Chinese guy named Dr. John Chen. I think I mentioned something about Dr.
So,
Chen.
yes.
And he said, Jerry, if you don't stay super busy, because you can't go from 35 years running all over the world doing something every day to come sitting. So he said, you got to stay busy.
Yes.
So my mind has to be occupied.
Yes.
Even when I'm watching TV at night, I'm studying foreign languages or doing something. I got to do 2 things at one time.
Absolutely.
I know this might sound crazy, but
No, it makes perfect sense to keep that mind moving and doing
tell
something.
you, I lost a lot of friends in like 7 different wars. I'm talking about 50, and most people have not lost 50 friends. You know, seeing them dead on the ground.
Yes.
So I try to stay busy, and for 30, I've been retired 33 years out of the military.
Okay.
I never put in for the VA or nothing like that because I had my arms and legs, and I didn't want to take no money, but then I found out it don't work that way. So a few months ago, I put in for my VA disability. They awarded me over 500% for all my wounds, and explosives, and cancers, and Agent Orange. So 5 times, I'm 5 times disabled.
Yes.
5 times. It stops at 100.
Yeah. So.
But when I added them all up, and I can show you the paperwork back, it come up to over 500. You know, 40 for my kidneys, 30 for my heart, this and this. I broke both shoulders in parachute accidents, got blown up, couple, bad things, got mistreated in a couple countries.
Yes. Yeah.
To this day, I can't have nothing over my head because I had a black sack over my head for a while one time.
Oh goodness. Okay.
And I worked for years trying to rescue, my team did, trying to rescue those professors and stuff in Beirut. That was all during the 80s. I did that.
Yes.
And we got a couple of them.
Okay.
We didn't get the CIA guy. They hung him.
Oh,
But I've helped rescue a lot of people throughout the world.
Yes.
My claim to fame with Delta Force is I helped put the handcuffs on General Noriega on the
I remember that in the book. Yes, that was amazing. You walked from the hotel with him.
Me and
to,
Van Arsdale and a guy named Colburn. And I usually don't tell these guys' names, but it's been so long now. They even have that on TV now.
Is that a 30-year kind of ceiling that once that's over?
Yeah, I signed those, I forget what you call those papers, disclosure forms.
Yes.
And my wife had to sign them too. But I protected my wife all these years. I never told her one single thing that I ever did. And God bless her. She's what we call a Delta Force wife. I would leave, and you can't tell them where you're going or when you're going to get back. But I would tell her, watch the TV, because it'd always be some big explosion or something like that. And I have a couple stories, and I won't go into all the stories on that. But I would, sometimes I'd come home at 4 o'clock in the morning, throw my dirty clothes down and get in bed, and she'd roll over and say, Jerry, how long are you going to be home? I'm going to say about 4 hours. And I'd have to take off for another month. She put up with that for 30. We've been married 57 years now. I would never leave my wife.
That is a Delta Force wife.
Delta Force wife. And she's been a cop's wife too. I don't tell her anything that goes on. I protect her. I don't want her knowing none of this stuff. I mean, I work rapes and robberies and people raping little autistic kids. I work everything up here. I'm the detective for the city.
Okay.
And for a long time, I'm also the retired chief deputy of Calcasieu, but I was also a detective before I got that position for years for Wayne McKelvin.
Right. Yes, that's in the book.
Yeah, and I put all that. I won't go into all those stories, but I've investigated 10,000. I was in court yesterday. I've investigated over 10,000 probably cases in my life, and I've sent people to prison for life sentences for things, for murder and stuff like that, treason, war crimes.
Yes.
So that my whole life has just been a series of one thing after. It's never been dull. I'll tell you, it's
for
not
sure.
I did be riding on a submarine somewhere, parachuting into a country, sneaking in through the border, bringing gun running. I can't get into that for President Reagan, South America. I've been in almost every revolution down in South America. Dominican Republic, Panama, Grenada, El Salvador, Guatemala. I got to where I could speak Spanish better than English, and so that's some of the stories. And I was mayor here during Hurricane Rita, so I had to spend my whole time rebuilding the city. We had 100 trees on houses and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I got to work with a lot of the FEMA guys. And back then, we liked FEMA.
Yes.
So they offered me a FEMA manager job for the state of Louisiana. So I took that after I didn't run again.
Okay.
So I became a FEMA man. I was able to help Cameron. That's why a lot of people in Cameron know me. I was down there helping them, Theos Duhan and Sheriff Ron Johnson and all those guys. And I had an office in Baton Rouge. I had 4 states. I was in charge of like 200,000 trailers, and those trailers ought to be sent. Some of them ought to be sent to North Carolina. Those people are in tents.
Yes.
We don't need to be giving Angola $1 billion until we take care of our own people.
Yes.
I don't want to get into no political.
No, I understand.
I don't want to get into no political talks here, but I'm what you call a Christian conservative.
Yes.
I don't belong to any party.
That's,
I belong to a party where they believe in Jesus Christ,
yes,
and they believe in the welfare and helping people and the security of our nation.
I believe the same.
Because I spent most of my life,
yes,
doing things for the country.
Yes.
And now I'm doing them here locally from my city, So
yes, yes.
I'm pushing 80 years old. August I'll be 80.
My goodness.
And I'm still going. I take it one day at a time.
You're staying busy.
What gets me mostly, I got arthritis in both hips. That's them 200 parachute jumps where somebody said, well, how come you got, I said, well, stand on that table and jump off and land on your hip 200 times.
Exactly.
And you'll be hurting too.
Yes.
And I enjoyed that. I was a young 17-year-old in charge of a big old artillery piece with 11
That's right.
You sent me that picture, right?
Yeah,
And yes,
it's one of
the 155 or something
Yeah,
like that.
155 howitzer.
Okay, yes.
And then I said, man, this ain't getting me nowhere. So then I got into the Special Forces field,
Yes.
the Green Berets and all that.
Yes.
And then that didn't satisfy me, so I got into CID, Special Forces.
Yes.
And then I got into Interpol, and I got into Delta.
Goodness.
I got recruited into the Delta Force because of my languages and my different skills and
sure.
my knowledge of the world. I worked in over 60 different nations.
Okay.
And when I say worked in there, I mean worked in there with people,
You were,
not just
yeah,
traveling through.
Embedded, yeah.
Embedded, I did things, and some of my most adventures are in countries like Turkey and Israel.
Yes.
Of course, I was a NATO counterintelligence CID officer, so
Okay.
I handled was chief bodyguard, keeping 2 Supreme Allied commanders and their families alive.
Including General Haig.
And General Haig,
And
Alexander
General
Haig is a
Rogers.
good guy. Me and him flew all over the world together. He was a real nice. He went on to be Secretary of State.
I remember.
Messed up a little bit when Reagan got shot, and he said he was in
Yeah,
charge. That was the
yeah.
general thing in him, but
Exactly.
General Haig was a great guy.
Good.
And he and I used to go up to Reagan's ranch and
Nice.
got to meet President Reagan several times.
Nice.
I got to brief President Carter
Okay.
in the Oval Office on some NATO stuff. And while I was waiting to go in there to this is a sideline story.
Sure.
While I was waiting to go in there to talk, I talked to Rosalind for about 30 minutes. And she was
To Mrs. Carter for 30, you had a 30-minute conversation.
her and his gatekeeper, and she had a sister in Lake Charles. So when I always said
I
Lake
never knew
Charles.
that.
I always said Lake Charles because people wouldn't know the Quincy,
Yes,
but she knew
yeah.
Lake Charles. She got it. We talked. She said, "Yeah, the president just got over his hemorrhoids and he's doing good." She was down to earth
Very
person.
much.
She
Yes,
died
that's
here.
what I've heard.
She just died. We
Yeah.
talked for 30 minutes, and then I saw Jody Powell come through and a guy named Jordan. They had their it was Friday, so they had their blue jeans on. It was
Okay.
casual dress, I guess.
Yes,
They come in,
yes.
shake hands. Then I got to go in and we briefed General
met
Carter.
the president.
We met. I had to brief him on some NATO stuff,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
I got to meet
Great
5.
story,
I got to
though.
meet 5 presidents,
Goodness.
and some
From Carter until, or did you know Ford? Or?
yeah, it was Carter and Ford and Bush and Clinton and Reagan.
Gotcha.
Actually shook hands and talked with them on a one-on-one setting.
Gosh.
Been up to Reagan Ranch several times. He had a ranch on top of a.
In California.
Yeah, they call it Rancho Cielo, Ranch in the Sky. He had a
Yeah.
600-acre ranch,
Yes.
and I'd go up there, and here come Nancy and her daughter riding their horses by,
Gosh.
and Ronnie was wearing his
His
big
boots,
old
his
ride
riding
boots
purse. He
and,
was just like just like me and you talking.
Yes. Yeah.
Jerry, what's going on? This and this. And I'd brief him on whatever I had to brief him,
Yes.
and great guy. And
That's
then I met 4 kings. 4 kings. I was in the middle of the Jordanian desert. This is another sideline story, but you need to hear. And with some Jordanian special forces, we just did an operation against, somebody.
yeah.
And here comes a helicopter, whop, 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 whop. And all the special forces guys sitting around, we were drinking tea. They getting scared and shaking. I said, I told them in Arabic. I speak a little Arabic. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "The king is coming." And I got a picture on my phone. So King Hussein of Jordan flew his own helicopter out. Of course, he had his bodyguards.
Yes.
Park, come in and sit down and talk with us. "Oh, where you from?" I said, "Louisiana." "Oh, New Orleans." I didn't tell him any different,
Exactly, yeah.
because he knew New
Close
Orleans.
enough.
He had an American wife, but that was
That's
one of
right,
our
that's
greatest
right.
allies. And I got to. Some of my guys got blown up later on, and he sent his chief surgeon out to sew them up. He was
Oh,
a
my
I
goodness.
love King Hussein.
Yes.
The other king I met was the king of Belgium. Haig and Rogers we used to have to drive to Brussels once a week and brief the king on some things. I can't think of his name right now. The wife was Beatrice, but the king, I can't think of his name right now. But he'd come out and shake hands with his bodyguards.
Oh, my
And then one night in Oslo, Norway, and it was cold. It was the middle of winter.
goodness. Okay.
We were at a nuclear thing, me and General Rogers, and I took him to the officers' club because they had a little dinner and all that stuff. And I seen this guy coming down through the club, shaking hugging people and slapping people on the back and talking. Come up to me, grab me and hug me and slap my American friends. And he went on, and I asked one of the Norwegian officers, I said, "Who's that?" They said, "That's King Olaf. King Olaf the Fourth."
I've heard the name, yes.
King Olaf. He was famous during the World War II as a prince or something.
Nice.
And then the other king I met was a prince at the time, Prince Charles. They'd come to the NATO Mons, Belgium, to the SHAPE headquarters, and we're
Prince Charles, who's King Charles now?
yeah, he was
of
Prince. Him
England?
and Andrew, and General Rogers introduced me to both of them. Shook hands. He went on to be king, so I put him as one of my kings.
There we go. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and there's one more. There was Charles, the King of Belgium, King of Jordan, and King of Norway. Yeah, that's 4.
Yes.
And then I saw the Queen at the House of Lords one night, but you don't shake hands with a Queen.
Right,
You know,
exactly, yes.
she did one of these things to us.
Yes.
And saw her at the House of Lords.
Amazing.
Rogers had to go make a speech. Let's see.
Okay.
I got to drive Henry Kissinger. I got to bodyguard him. And I think I mentioned some of that in one of my books.
I think so.
I was getting my master's degree from Boston University, and we were studying Dr. Kissinger. And I was bodyguarding him at the Bilderberg meetings. That's the meetings where the people that control the world. And I told Dr. K, I was walking down, I said, you know, I'm taking a class on you right now, Dr. K. He talked real, he just died here, lived to be 100.
That's right.
Yeah, I got something for you, Mr. Bell. And he gave me all his speeches and his notebooks and his badge and everything.
Kidding.
And I got that. I had a picture of somewhere. No, it's at home in my stuff.
Okay.
So I have all Dr. K's stuff.
All of his written speeches.
Yeah, and I used to take Haig down to a deal out in California called the Bohemian Club. You need to Google
I've
that.
heard, yes.
They wouldn't even let us go down in
Exactly,
there. We had to stay up on the bodyguards.
Yes,
But I know.
yes.
And then the other thing was called the Alfalfa Club. That's the people that run the world, I'm telling you. And I got to be part of
You were
that.
there.
Yeah, because I was bodyguarding them, you know.
Yes.
And so
That's amazing.
that's
I've heard the Bohemian, but I hadn't heard the Alfalfa Club. until
Alfalfa Club.
mentioned
You
it.
can Google that.
In the book, okay.
And the Bilderberg. They meet in Norway, Bilderberg
Okay.
meetings. That's Paul Volcker's bunch and German industrialists. I mean,
Gotcha.
people that control. Because I seen them walking, and I got the list of all of them. I was there that night. It was 1981 in Sandefjord, Norway.
Nice.
And just multiply that by 1,000,000 times. I mean, I got to meet people all over, just, you know. And then a certain part of my life, I was chosen to be an air marshal, what they call a sky marshal in the 70s. I think I put some of that in my book.
You did, yes.
And I got to meet, but a famous guy I got to meet a lot of movie stars, seeing them, wave at them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We were flying out of Chicago one night, and this guy's 2 bodyguards asked if they could take the guns on the plane. Well, as Sky Marshal, I could give them permission, and I did.
Right.
Well, we're going to let you sit, but we're going to let you sit next to our guy. He'll have more protection in. It was Mayor Richard Daley.
What?
We talked for 2 hours about.
Where was he going?
He was going to Miami on vacation.
Oh, my, cross country.
Yeah,
My
and
goodness.
we talked about the 1968 riots and everything. He found out. I said Louisiana, and I told him I was, we were big supporters of his and everything, because I didn't really know politics. I was young.
Yes.
I got to talk to Mayor. I probably got more time with him than
That's
anybody for 2
2
hours.
hours on the plane
Flying
right
from
there.
down to Miami. He hugged me and
That's
shook hands.
amazing.
And
Now that's not in the book, so I'm learning
a
this.
couple times I sat next to a guy named Born. He was a famous Swedish tennis player, real famous. Got to
Beyond board.
Beyond board.
Yes,
Yeah, I
okay.
got his autograph. I said, would you autograph for my daughter? She plays tennis. He took a napkin, one of his cocktail napkins. I got that, signed
I
that.
liked him.
Got to meet
yes.
James Garner.
See, James Garner. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Red Skelton. Me and my wife in the
Really?
airport, and Red let her. She kissed Red on his cheek, and he gave us one of them little things he was selling there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Bob Hope.
Yes.
Sing Bob
oh
Hope.
My gosh.
I could go on and on and on.
Well, you talk about all these famous people, but I did have a question about 2 very important local people in your life, if you would want to say something about them. Granny Rigmaiden and Harry Lee. How were
Okay,
they?
Granny Rigmaiden. When I come out of the military in '91, I didn't have no place to live. And Granny Rigmaiden was an old lady that lived out here
She wasn't your granny.
No,
your
no.
grandmother, you just called her.
Granny took me in,
Okay.
and my brother had lived with her before.
Okay.
And she went to Brother Jackson's church. She had about 15 kids, and they were all very important people. And they kind of asked me if I would stay out there with her because she was in her 70s,
course.
almost 80. I chopped her wood. She had an old farmhouse.
Nice.
And Granny, I love Granny. I call her Granny. Granny Rigmaiden was her name. And I would, back then the Pentecostals, their churches lasted 3 hours. So on Saturday night, I'd pick her up at 6 in my police car because I was on the police department.
Yes.
This was way back in the 60s.
Okay.
I took a break in service for 3 years.
Gotcha.
And I tried to get my mind of PTSD and all that.
Yes.
And I took her and dropped her off. And then when I come back at 10, 9:30 to 10, and pick her back up, and we'd ride out on the Fields Highway, and she'd stick her head out the car, and I'd blow the siren and blue light.
She would enjoy
Yeah,
that.
she'd enjoy
Oh, my goodness.
And when I got off duty at 2 o'clock, she'd be waiting up for me with coffee and biscuits
Oh, my
and
goodness.
jam, and she'd want to know everything that went on. And she knew a lot more than I knew because she was in that, she was in with all those Pentecostal. And I figured her and all them Pentecostal ladies, them old gray-haired ladies that love me, that got me through these wars because she prayed for me. They prayed for me. So that's my story on Granny Rigby.
Great.
Now Harry Lee, when I come back in the '60s, they had just this '67 as a break in service.
Okay.
Harry Lee was the only black cop in town. Well, I was a veteran. He was a World War II veteran, and he told me how he got drafted.
Okay.
And he was a yard boy, and that's what his word. I was a yard boy for the draft guy that run the draft board.
Okay.
I ended up in Germany in World War II driving a truck with a triple nickel.
Goodness.
So he and I became instant friends.
Yes.
And he was really the only guy I trusted back then because Harry Lee, he handled the south side,
Okay.
and I handled this side.
Okay.
And sometime I'd call him, "Is everything okay on the southern front?" And he'd say, "Yeah." And I said, "Is everything okay on the northern front?" It got to where he more and more DeQuincy became integrated.
Yes.
And Harry Lee was a good officer. He wasn't scared of anything.
Good.
And somebody up here, I'll tell a story about some guys were trying to kill me one time. And Harry Lee hit out and saved me on that, and I'd save him. And all those stories are in the book, so I don't go over that.
Well, yeah.
And then I went back in the military in '70 because my PTSD was getting to me. I wanted to go back to war.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
while I was at McNeese, I was reading Army Times. I was seeing all my friends' names got killed. I just couldn't take it no more. I told my wife was pregnant. I said, "I know,
Yeah.
but I got to go back. I got to go do."
Yeah.
So I went back. I left Harry Lee here. He died years later. I got to come back one time to see him.
Okay.
I'd always give him a little money when I come home.
Okay.
And Harry was a twofer. He was a DeQuincy police, and Sheriff Ham Reed had him as a deputy too.
Really?
And gave him a little
Okay.
money because we didn't make.
Yes.
I made $281 a month
My
back then. It was hard.
Back in the '60s.
Yeah, I told my wife, I told the mayor one time. I said, "Mayor, I can't hardly make it." Houston had offered me a job for $400,
Yes.
and he said, "Well," I said, "Can you get my wife?" He called his good friend Ray Height on the Big Star store.
Okay.
She went to work that afternoon. She's making more than me at $1.10 an hour. So we made it because my house rent back then was $25 a month. Utilities were like $4. So it's all relative in your
Right.
money.
Yes.
But
It's not what we have today.
but I said, look, if I'm ever going to make my niche in the world, I've got to leave this little town.
Yeah.
And boy, I tell you, from the day I left
Yeah.
until the day I come back, it was just one thing after one war, one thing. If you're at Fort Bragg, it's now called Fort Liberty, and I wrote President Trump a letter wanting him to rename it back to Fort Bragg. And I think he will, because all us Green Berets, Special Forces Rangers and everything, we want Fort Bragg to be Fort Bragg.
Yes.
If I was born in New York, I'd have been, my kinfolk, grandpas and everything would be Yankees fighting for the nation.
Yes.
But my grandfathers and everything down here, they're Confederate They were Confederate officers. They fought in the Battle of. In fact, they're buried up at Ragley, up at the Magnolia Cemetery.
Okay.
I have a great grandfather, Lafayette Franklin. That's where I get my middle name,
Now,
Lafayette.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he got his from the General Lafayette out of Revolutionary War.
Yes, yes.
And so that's why I was ashamed of that
French
name.
general.
I was ashamed of that name when I was little, Lafayette. But then I said, nah,
That's pretty substantial.
that ain't nothing to be wrong with it, especially after I learned French.
Right, yes.
And so that's the story on that. That's the story on Harry Lee.
Thank you.
We became brothers.
Yes, yes.
He protected me, I protected him. I trusted him more than anybody else. And
That's very special.
I have 1,000 Harry Lee stories. I go visit his grave.
What's the biggest, the most memorable one that you have that you're able to talk about?
I guess the time that he saved my life. He hid out. These two guys were going to kill me when I was standing outside the thing, and Harry Lee put on his old clothes and with his sawed-off shotgun and walked up behind them. I got that story in the book. They were there to kill me. Yeah,
Yes,
I still got the old gun they were going to use.
Yes.
And I didn't. He just made them drop their weapons and everything.
Yes.
And I just asked them to get out of town. Back then, you could do stuff like that.
Yes.
And they left town.
Okay.
Super Cat and Collie Brains or something like that was her name. They were out of New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I survived about 5 assassination attempts. Wow. I don't want to get into all that because it's.
No, I know.
But
yes. Yeah.
One guy. He was sent to kill me. He had already killed 9 people. He was an enforcer out of New Orleans. I was fighting the drug wars up here then, and that's going to be part of this new book.
Yes.
So what's it going to be called? Railtown Blues?
Yeah,
Okay.
Off of Hill Street Blues.
Of course.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I love Hill Street
That's
Blues.
a good one. Yes.
And like I say, I'm up to 41 chapters now, and it'll be about a 70-chapter book, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to. I definitely made it fiction.
Yes, but it's based on your experience.
It's based on some of my experiences.
Okay.
You know, I use a lot of. Now, this book is true down to every jot and tittle. When across the rails. That's an autobiography.
Yes.
But
I knew that.
This Railtown Blues is got. It's got a lot of little stories in it. Some of it's based on stuff that I knew that was going on.
It's more like Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff.
You know, we did have the Klan here. We did have prostitution.
Yes.
We did have the 2 factions coming in to they used to, our airport there, they used to land bales and bales of marijuana and stuff.
Yeah.
And I bring out some of that stuff. And
Okay.
but this was a wild town in the 60s. Can you imagine 25 nightclubs? There was on every
One police
corner.
officer.
We had 7 down there. Yeah, it was me and the chief. The
That's-
chief was an older guy, O.C. Van, was a great guy. I loved him. He was a World War II veteran too. Wore overalls and tennis shoes. He didn't do any paperwork.
Right.
And didn't go to church or nothing. But you know, in his last years, he got the Holy Ghost. I got to sit in church with him. I went to his funeral. And 2 days after he was buried, his son came by, Bubba, and brought me his pistol. He said that was his last word. He said, Jerry, he wanted you to have his pistol. That's one of my good 38 pistols, and I'll cherish that forever.
That's so good. That's
And
excellent.
he just put it in his back pocket. He didn't wear no police stuff. Well, boy, he was a hell of a man. Nobody messed with Orville Van Winkle. He was a World War II guy, and
Yes.
his brother I.V. Van Winkle ran the prison out there.
Okay.
So the Van Winkles were a big name, and then the Hennigans came.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I worked for Buddy Hennigan, one of the best mayors in the state.
Yes.
He'd come by my
His
office.
son is your son-in-law now.
No, that's his nephew.
Nephew. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
but Buddy used to come by the office in the 90s and say, "Let's go see the governor." I said, "Okay." I said, "Don't we need an appointment?" He said, "I don't need no appointment to see Eddie." I'd drive him down to Baton Rouge. We'd go up to 4th floor, sign in with the state police, go in. Eddie would hug him and, "Hey, Jerry, how you doing?"
Gosh.
Buddy was his main man.
That's
and
excellent.
I don't want to go into all those political stories
Right,
about the
yes,
governor and Buddy
yeah,
and all
but-
that, but he was
That's a good story. Yeah.
he was
Just
Edward,
show up and see Edwin Edwards, and
and we went right in
that's
because
excellent.
Buddy was one of the few mayors that backed Eddie when he was having his troubles.
Yes, yes.
And I got to meet a lot of governors. Governor Foster called me down one day. He wanted to make me a
Another good man.
gambling commissioner.
Okay.
And he had read about my Green Beret stuff. He was a fighter pilot in Korean War.
Wow.
And I went in his office. He's in there lifting weights in the shorts.
In his office,
Yeah.
in the governor's office, he's got to work.
And he rode a motorcycle and
I had
everything.
no idea about that.
Yeah, and
I
he
knew had a crawfish farm.
he
or his
said,
family.
Jerry, he says, you got the job if you wanted. I didn't look at your resume. I said, well, you know, Governor, I appreciate you asking me, but I only got a couple more years before I can retire from the sheriff's office. And it'd be, you know, he said, well, is there anything else you want? I said, well, put me on a military committee or something like that.
Yeah.
So I've been on a military committee.
Nice.
I was one of Bobby Jindal's political guys. I met him down at, what's the famous coffee place?
Starbucks.
Starbucks
Yes, okay.
in Lake Charles there, by Walmart, Walmart's.
Yes. Okay.
And we sat in there one Sunday afternoon. We sat in there for 3 hours and outlined him a
You
whole
and the
plan.
governor.
Me and Jindal when he was running for governor,
Running for-
Bobby
okay,
Jindal.
gotcha.
He wanted to know how to get the redneck vote. And I went into
Gotcha,
some
okay.
things like you got to go heavy on the Bible, heavy on Second Amendment, heavy on anti-abortion. He was in there,
Yeah.
and we sat there and drank coffee, you know, off and on for about 2 hours.
So you were his consultant. You were.
Yeah, on
That's
that, and
amazing.
he offered me all kind of stuff, but I didn't
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't need
You had a
no.
lot going on anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the female governor, I met with her a couple times.
Yes. Kathleen
she-
Babino Blanco.
Yeah, she died young. I
Yes, she did.
hated
Yes. Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
I never. I saw me and Harry back in the late '50s. We walked 4 miles from Hargrove Settlement up to DeQuincy to see Earl K. Long. He was standing on the back of a pickup truck
Oh,
on a
my
bale of hay
goodness.
and a white shirt giving a speech. We had heard that they were giving out biscuits.
Okay.
So we walked up there to get our biscuits, but they were all gone.
Oh, come on.
But me and Harry saw Earl K. Long standing
Long.
right over at the old city hall on the back
That's
of a pickup truck.
amazing.
50 when he was running for last
Right,
time for
exactly,
governor.
yes,
He went
yes.
crazy and all that,
Yes.
or had some problems.
Yeah.
Blaze Starr, I think was.
Yeah, so I could say I saw him,
That's amazing.
and I've been to Jimmy
Right over
Davis.
here.
Yeah, I've been to Jimmy Davis's house,
Nice.
and who else? What other governor? I used to go down and
Trying to remember.
yeah, but that's some of the important
That's
people.
amazing. That's amazing.
Getting back to the book, though, that there were, I talked about 3 passages that really affected me, and one of them was you had something written, country boys that chew tobacco and love the outdoors, they were the superheroes of the military.
That's them guys right there.
This
Those guys,
Operation
they were from
Expo.
Tennessee and Kentucky and Texas, and they all were farm boys, hunters, shooters.
And they made the best.
They made the best. They knew the woods. They knew
course.
they could do it on their own. If you've never read up, you need to Google what Delta Force training is.
Thank you.
They drop you off at nighttime in the hills of West Virginia, and it
Wow.
freezing cold and everything, and you're by yourself, and you got to get from point A to point B, and they don't tell you how much time you got to make it. And it goes on and on and on. And the last day, you got to do a 40-mile.
So that's basic training for Delta Force.
Yeah, that's called selection.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's not the training. That's just to see
That's
if
to
you
select-
can get
you're
it
gonna
selected.
Get
Yeah,
in to be trained.
yeah. It would behoove you to Google some of that,
I will definitely.
or
Google
or read the Charlie Beckwith's book Delta Force.
that. Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
good.
I've
Another
heard
book.
that.
Another book I'd recommend, and his picture's in there. General Jerry Boykin. He's on wounded. He's on.
Boykin.
Yeah, he wrote Never Surrender, and me and Boykin. He took a bad bullet in Grenada,
Wow.
but he and I went all over the world together. He ended up lieutenant general, and then he went to CIA, and now he goes all over the United States giving speeches. He's on Fox News all the time. He gives speeches on
Nice.
warrior ministries. He's a Pentecostal preacher now.
Oh my
And I'll show you, that's the second man in the back row from the right there. That's
Okay.
Jerry Boykin.
Second from the right.
Yeah, he wrote
Okay.
Never Surrender. That's one of the best books ever.
I think you mentioned some maybe in the book, or
Yeah,
I think I've seen that title somewhere before. So
yeah.
Okay.
And we were together in rescuing that CIA guy out of Panama,
Yes.
Kurt Muse.
Now, is that the
He
one
wrote
that,
a book. Yeah, he wrote a
the
book.
helicopter?
Yeah, he wrote a book, 6 Minutes to Freedom.
Yes.
Boy, he hugged me and kissed me. When we got him out of there, they were going to kill him the next day. We got him home to his folks. That is a real story. It's Operation Just Cause.
Yes.
But the real code name is, I'm going to write it down for you. I want you to read on this.
Definitely want to.
I'm going to give you the code. Acid Gambit.
Acid Gambit.
You will
Wow.
love. I did the spy work for this.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got
And
picked up.
it'll
They were
be-
going to kill me in
on
Panama.
Google.
Yeah, Acid Gambit. They actually have a video of our hole where we rode our helicopters through the thing and jumped up, and
And they show the actual video of y'all doing that?
yeah, well, it's a reenactment.
Okay. Gotcha.
And General Bargewell was a big hero. He was major then. He died last year of a heart attack. But just read about that. I mean,
will.
I served with so many guys that you will never. There's so many like Walt Shoemake and
Yes.
General Wayne Downing, and I mean these guys are heroes that nobody will ever know about.
Yeah.
Man, they send me emails every day. Mike Vining and those guys. They got their own TV shows, and I mean.
Yes.
And I wish I had a lot of time just to tell you some of this,
Well.
some of the real stuff.
You're writing about them, definitely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like Mike Vining, he's up in Colorado now. This guy, little guy, but he could kill you 100 different ways. I mean, he's everything. I mean,
Trained in many, many different.
yeah, he was one of them. He and I were called back in '96 when the Hezbollah blew up the Khobar Towers.
Yeah.
The President of the United States called me and him back to help go investigate that. Bill Clinton.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
General Wayne Downing. It's called the Downing Commission. Let me write that down. You need to read about the Downing
Okay.
Commission.
I've heard that. I've heard of that one.
Well, I helped write it, write the
Okay.
whole report. And
Thank you.
they called us back, and when I ended up at Pentagon, I was sitting at my desk here in the Quincy, and there's a fax come over and said, report to Pentagon in 2 days. This was July 1st, 1996.
Okay.
Well, a few days before, like June the 26th or something, the Hezbollah had blew up the Khobar Towers in Saudi Arabia and wounded 200 Americans, killed 25.
Yes.
Well, they wanted some people to track these people down. That's a whole story I can't get into, but
Yes.
Mike Vining, he's right there in that picture.
The back row, second.
First
to the
first row, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth guy on the first row there.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
Mike, that's little Mike Vining.
Yes.
He's in the Hall of Fame for explosives.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Do you know what red cell is? And this is really getting into something we can. A red cell thing is where you do a vulnerability assessment to a target.
Yeah.
Well, me and him, we did one on the White House, parachute in, and showed where we could assassinate the president in 20 minutes. Okay, ain't gonna show you how. I'll tell you how, and not like
But
that.
y'all were,
That was the last mission I did for Delta Force, and I got a big write-up. The Secret Service guy gave me a big letter, long letter, and that was very, very interesting.
Yes, it
Yeah,
sounds
he was
like
one of
it.
them. He could make a stop sign explode where it'd go through a windshield when you come up to stop at it.
No.
Man,
That's amazing.
he could take a drone with X amount of C4 on it and fly it to a pole in the middle. You know, I don't want to get into all that, but this
Right,
guy is
but
good, and me and him are
yes.
personal friends, and he
Yes.
comes spends the night at my house and
Nice.
stuff like that. So that answers one of the
Yeah.
questions, right?
Yes, yes.
And what was the other question?
Okay, the thing about I think you mentioned this about the man in the helicopter who apparently felt he had an angel that unstrapped him.
Oh, let me tell you, we were in Panama doing some work upon the Colombian border. Can't tell you what we were doing, but it was classified.
Okay.
But that afternoon, it was lightning real bad, storming. That's why I know I got an angel too.
Yes.
And this major, I don't want to give his last name. He's still in the game.
Okay.
He asked me if him and a warrant officer friend of mine, another W4 was a pilot. They want to take a night ride along the Chagres River to try to find something.
Okay.
Well, I told him I saw that lightning and everything. I said, no, sir, I got too much to do. I ain't gonna go with you.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, the major, the chief warrant officer, and I got his name on my phone, and a crew chief, they went down. The helicopter went down, either lightning strikes, down the middle of the Chagres River.
Okay.
Well, we flew over the next morning, and here he is, the major. That's a deep river, hundreds of feet. He's floating in a rubber boat. You know what they have in these helicopters over water?
Yeah.
So we get him to the hospital and everything. The other guys, we never even found their bodies. And little pieces of helicopters was like this, you know,
Yes.
all over this river.
Yes.
Shark infest, everything.
Good.
And so I went to the big hospital in Panama. Can't think of the name of
Okay.
it right now,
Right.
to interview him because they wanted me to investigate the crash and everything
Right.
as a CID agent. And I go in his room and he's sitting there drinking some orange juice and everything. Looked good. I said, man, what happened? I had my tape on. And he said, he says, we lost control of the engine and we went down. He says, I remember being on the bottom of the river strapped into my seat. And he said, this angel come and undid the seat and pushed me up and put me in the boat. And I cut my tape off and I said, Major, you sure that's what you want? He said, Jerry, that's what happened. He said, that's what happened. I said, okay, that's what I made in my official report. And of course, we had a ceremony later on for the other two guys, you know, with the rifle and the boots and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
This was in August of '83.
Okay.
October '83, we invaded Grenada. His helicopter got shot down. He was the only one to survive that one. Again.
Two of them.
He's with the Night Stalkers, Task Force 160. You can
Heard
Google
that.
them, Night
Yes.
Stalkers.
Yes. Okay.
And he's probably still flying. But he said that this was a major. He didn't just make this
Right.
up.
Exactly. Yeah. He had been
So
through.
I've seen several things like
That's
that in my
amazing.
career.
Yes.
But that was his story,
Yes.
and nobody questioned him
Yes.
because, you know, things do happen.
Yes, they do.
You know,
Beyond our understanding.
yeah, why does a bullet go past my nose and kill my friend? You know,
Exactly.
why?
Yes.
You know, why did President Trump turn at the right time? Sometimes something is
Right.
God inspired.
Something. Yes.
Well, anyway, that's the story on the. I used to know the major's name, but through the years, I just. But I do have my buddy that we went down there and we were flying. He was a CW4 like me, a chief warrant officer. He was flying. I flew with him on some missions down there.
Okay.
We were routing some people out and stuff like that, and we had a whole squadron Delta Force down there. But that's the story on that, and that's the true story.
That's just
I mean, think about it. Your helicopter goes down, and everything is
All the way
busted
down to the
and down,
bottom.
and he's strapped in.
right.
Well, who undid the rubber raft?
The raft. Exactly.
How'd that get
Yes.
undone? He was
just-
floating in it. We didn't even find no pieces of the helicopter. We didn't find no bodies or nothing.
something.
And another side story on that, my friend, I wrote his wife a 5-page story telling him everything he and I had done
Nice.
the 20 days before that happened, and give her, and they promised.
I hope that was helpful.
I hope so too, because he was fixing to retire. He had his 30 years in, and Vietnam hero and all that stuff. You know them fighter pilots,
Yes.
helicopter pilots when they survive,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's the story on that.
That's
And
wonderful.
and I can only report what he told me.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I didn't see the angel.
Right.
But then me and Boyk and a bunch of us started thinking, how did the raft get undone?
Right.
How's he up there floating on top of it? Nothing wrong with him.
Yes.
And I asked him 2 or 3. He said, no, Jerry, the angel got me out of that, brought me up, and put me in the boat. And I said, yes, sir. And that's what went in his official report.
Okay. That's
And,
amazing.
and that report's in the Pentagon right now.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Sometimes you just got to accept.
You do.
You know,
You
just
do.
like the stranger's gun I wrote about.
Yes, yes.
Now that's another one, yeah, that left.
I'm
you a
still
gun,
trying to
right?
research.
He rode with
He
you?
rode with me for 4 or 5 nights.
Okay.
I thought he was a railroad engineer
Yes.
because he come in with those guys.
Yes.
He said his name was Buddy Lyons. I have researched all over Facebook, everything. And he would be 100 years old now because he was 50 years old. This happened in 69.
Okay.
69, yeah.
Yeah.
And the night before he left, I wrote an article with a picture of the gun.
Okay.
And Quincy News has it. The last night, it was about 12:01. He said, "Well, I got to catch my train." He reached in his bag and he pulled out this beautiful bone-handled pistol. And I was carrying an old piece of junk to city. I didn't even know. I hope it'd fire, you know. And I wouldn't take it, but he kept insisting. He said, "Jerry," he says, "I don't need it anymore. I'm not going to be on the train, and I want you to have it." And then I started thinking, I need to write him a letter, or thank him, or do something more than just. So I asked them railroad guys. They never heard of him. Maybe it's a different crew or something. Who knows? And then I asked people. I researched. So that's one of the things that I don't know if that was my old dad coming back. Who knows? He was a railroad cop.
There we go. Yes. So.
And who knows? He
Yes.
said his name, and his name Buddy Lyons is on that pistol. Buddy Lyons. And then
That is just.
and then the other
very
thing,
intriguing.
that was strange to me, one Friday afternoon in Special Forces, me and this other staff sergeant, we both had convertibles, cars, but I said, let's hitchhike to Darlington, Texas, just to have an adventure.
That's in
So
the book.
yeah,
Yes.
so we got on a Highway 401 there, and the first person that picked us up was a Marine gunny sergeant or something. We had our uniforms on, had a little pack, back with the extra shorts and our shaving stuff. Then he took us. We ended up in South Carolina, down the swamp near Camp Lejeune, and we left that club there, and then we went. This old couple in a station wagon picked us up, and they were heading towards Darlington. They wasn't going all the way, so we was out in the middle of nowhere, and they turned off. They was going this way and Darlington that way. We got off, and you could hear the frogs croaking and just crickets, and we're out in the middle of a swamp in South Carolina,
At night, yes.
scared.
Yes.
And man, I said, "What we're gonna do, man?" It wasn't cold or nothing,
Right. Right.
but the mosquitoes was there.
Yes.
And here comes this like an old bread truck, a cab with something in the back, and it had pots and pans and brooms. It had everything hanging off of it. And this old lady looked between 60, 70 years old, white head, come up. "You boys need a ride?" We hopped in, we stood up. And I said, and she gave us some water.
Nice.
She said something like, y'all better not be out here. Them highwaymen will get you. Well, highway. I thought she was talking about the highway patrol, I guess, but she was talking about robbers or something.
Right. Yes.
So we rode with her and we talked with her, and it seemed like just an old lady.
Yeah.
She took us up to the service station. It was about 4:30 in the morning, and we got out. And she dropped us off. We sat on a little bench outside it, waiting for it to open, because the sign there said open at 6.
Right.
So it opened up. We went in and got some coffee and a moon pie or
Nice.
donut or something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
And this guy come in, "What you boys doing out here?" I said, "Well," and then, we caught a ride. And I told him about this old lady. I said, and then he said something about, "Yeah, she drops a lot of people off here." I said, "Well, who is she?" He said, "That's an old lady that's been dead about 30 years. It's like it wasn't no big deal to him." And I thought he's just joking with us,
Right.
So all these years I've been researching South Carolina, all that road and all that parish and everything, to see if anybody else had the same experiences. And maybe it was just an old, who knows? But I'm telling
That's
you,
amazing.
this was right out of the 1930s.
Right. Yes.
And
A bread truck like that with all the pots and pans.
where you stood up in the back and she's
Highwayman,
driving.
I mean,
1930s, right after the Depression and all that.
And that happened, man. That
Yes.
happened. And I'm thinking
That's-
somebody was looking after me. Someone is always looking.
Yes. Yes.
Why am I still living? Why did I survive one of the worst? When they told me I had cancer,
Yes.
Dr. Fredericks called me and said, I said, well, Doc, how long? He said, Jerry, I don't even think you got 60 days to live. But come on down here, we'll start the chemo. Well, here I am 25 years later.
Can you tell us the moment, you talk about in the book, the moment that you feel had some significance to your recuperation? The two...
Yeah, I was in there for 4 months. Got down to 60.
So 60 days to 4 months, and you were still going.
Still taking... what they did, Dr. Frederick's protocol was they destroy every cell in your body 4 times and rebuild it with new blood. I took like 100 pints of blood. And I talked to, it made me feel good. One of the blood donors said, Jerry, when you was in there, the word getting out, we never had so many people giving blood. Everybody from the sheriff's office came.
That is wonderful.
And I don't want to tear up.
I know.
The first day there, Wayne McKelvin came and sat on the foot of the bed. My wife was there. He said, Jerry, I don't care if you're in here a year, you're going to get your pay every month. Now, why do I love Wayne McKelvin?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
For that.
For that right there.
Great man and great family.
And the good thing, we didn't make much money, but he had $1 million cancer policy on every. My bill come to $998,000 back then. This was 93.
Okay.
No, 98. I'm sorry. I'm getting my 98.
98.
This was, I'll tell you how it all happened if you got time.
Sure.
In 98, September, I was playing tennis every day, and I had my people here. We were running every day. And we'd go out to the ball field and run. And one day I went out there and I couldn't even, and I was out running. I come out of Delta Fort. I was running circles around these guys.
Yes.
And I couldn't even run around the block one time. I couldn't pick up nothing. So I went and took Dr. Judah, my good friend. We used to play tennis all the time. He took some blood. He said, Jerry, your blood work don't look good. He said, I'm going to send you down, do some further testing. So I went down and seen Dr. Fredericks. Well, the next day he called me and said, Jerry, when the doctor calls you, it ain't good.
Exactly.
You know that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And he called me and he said, Jerry, he said, you've got one of the worst cases of AML, acute myelogenous leukemia.
Okay.
I knew it was that Agent Orange. I knew it was.
Right.
I knew I got it from that nuclear.
Yeah.
I showed you that picture of that book with the guy with a nuke.
Yes.
You know, I knew. He said. I said, I was stoic because I'd done everything in the world. I said, well, how long ago? He said, maybe 60 days, because your system's going to shut. It's already shutting down.
Right.
And so I went down there that afternoon. My wife took me down there, and later that night, Wayne came down because word went out.
Yes.
In fact, at my house before I left, man, the mayor and all the doctors, everybody in town seemed like was there, come around hugging, praying. And
Nice.
so I got down to the 3rd floor of St. Patrick's. That was the big thing then. It's Memorial now. Back then it was St. Patrick.
Yes.
Started my treatments.
Okay.
Man, I got down to 70 pounds, no hair on my head, bony, sores all down my throat.
Okay.
I was dying. In fact, I asked the Lord to take me.
Yes.
And then one Sunday afternoon, 2 Pentecostal preachers, and I was a Baptist,
Okay.
but they had a friend, one of them, Brother Brandon from DeQuincy, had a big church out here, and a Brother Peavy from Sulphur. They come in. They prayed for 2 solid hours. I mean, just shouting. The nurses were all coming around listening to them because these were real people.
Yes.
All of a sudden, there was a ball of fire felt like flame shot out of my head. I started feeling real good. Brother Brandon started dancing. Jesus is here. Jesus is here. And I'm just thinking, you know, because I'm Baptist, you know.
Right.
Took a test the next day. It's all gone. It's all gone.
And you just felt heat rising.
Right out of my head. And when I left the hospital, they said, Jerry, you know, you got to take it easy for about 4 months. Well, after the 2nd day I got home, I walked to the mailbox. The 3rd day I walked to the end of the street. The 4th day I walked to the police department. I got a ride back home. 2 weeks later, I was back on the job.
The doctors don't know you.
No, once God heals you.
Yes.
And so my life started right then.
Yes.
Now there were people dying
Yeah.
code 4. I code what you call code 4 one time. I died,
Yeah.
and they brought me back. And I didn't see no bright lights or nothing like that, but it was such a good feeling dying. I felt so good. I didn't want to come back really, and but I heard my wife crying and screaming, and they were shooting me up with something. I heard something, give him 75 more, give him 75 more.
Yes.
And they brought me back.
Okay.
I would have been happy to die, to be honest.
So you were, what you were going through was not.
No, it was. I was getting out of this pain,
Okay.
and everything was good. So I made a vow to make my life count. I have seen I've seen Dr. Fredericks every year. Well, first I had to see him every month,
Okay.
then every 6 months,
Yes.
and then every year for the last, 98. I got out of there in January of 99, so 25 years now. 25 years.
That's right. That's right.
25 years. So
Yes.
after that, I was mayor, chief of police, chief deputy, went overseas a couple times.
Okay.
They called me back to Homeland Security for 5 years, did that.
Yes.
I tried to make my life count. I'm still working.
Yes.
So I promised God, I said, I'm not going to, you give me another chance.
He's given you many, yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm still living because when they rebuilt my immune system, it's like I started all over.
So you do feel,
Yeah, I feel like a 20
feeling.
like a 20-year-old, except for my arthritis.
Of course, yes.
But I asked the doctor one time, I said, when y'all destroyed every cell and built me new
Yes.
with all these people's blood, I no telling them how much people, I got over 100 pints of blood, so I got blood from everybody in the world,
Yes.
and obviously good blood, good.
Yeah, well, it must have been good
red and white
because,
blood cells
and I tried to give blood later on, but once you've had leukemia, they won't take it.
Well, okay.
And then I had malaria and hepatitis and all that other stuff and them jungle diseases,
Yes.
they wouldn't take it. So I wanted to give back. But, so that's the story. That's the story on the cancer. Me and my couple of deputies were trying to run around the track and I couldn't.
Yeah, and normally your Delta Force.
Yeah, I
Experience.
was good, man. I was in good shape. I was for my age.
Excellent.
And I went to Calcasieu Parish Police Academy at age 50, and I won the Defensive Service Award, the #1 in the class, the president, and all that. I was 50 years old.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
But it
you were
wasn't
in-
nothing.
Yeah.
And no, I ain't gonna.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
All right.
that's one doctor telling me, you go from doctor visits to the next.
Yes.
I keep a list of all my stuff I got to do every day.
Nice.
I
That's-
got you
yeah,
down.
I
got
have-
you down here at 5 December. But I want,
appreciate you
yeah.
making time
Is
for
there any
that.
other? You can go over them questions. Is there any other?
I just want to ask you: is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you would want to share about it? Because you've covered so much of it already. There's
Well, the more stories that I could tell, or rescuing people out of the Middle East,
Sure.
stuff in Turkey.
Is there anything that sticks out to you that you would want to share? That
Yeah, there is a little story I want to share. We had raided an ammo dump in a certain South American country, and we called in helicopters to pick up all this missiles and grenades and rifles, like tons of it. Noriega had hid this out in the jungle so there could be a guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Well, a couple nights before, I had interrogated this Panamanian colonel. I might have told you this story before, and in a nice way. I didn't get into that waterborne stuff.
Right.
That's for the Middle East.
Yeah.
But he was real sad, and I asked him what was wrong. He said, well, my wife just had a little baby, and y'all got me here, and I can't go home. I said, well, I'm going to let you call your wife. We're at OSI headquarters, me and this other agent, and we'd picked him up. And we wanted to find out where them ammo dumps were. And we wanted to find out who was in the Vatican embassy with Noriega, all his henchmen.
Okay.
And we knew one of his brothers was in there.
Okay.
Well, he didn't want to say something. I let him talk to his wife. When he got through, he teared up. And she said, I got some problems. I said, what? He said, my wife, we got this little baby and we don't have no baby formula. So I said, I'm thinking real quick. So this OSI agent had been in Panama. She knew the guy that ran the commissary. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, we sent somebody over there and got 4 cases of Similac and had it delivered to her residence. And then I let her call. She got it. He told me where the ammo dumps was. He told me who was in there. He told me a lot of other stuff. Well, the next day, I was trying to get some sleep, and one of the psychiatrists, Dr. Greenfield, he's not in that picture, but I got another picture of him. He said, Jerry, we got a special mission. We know where those ammo dumps are, and we need you to go as interpreter and stuff. And you see that white truck right there? That's a CIA.
Yes.
That's a bread truck, but it's armored, and it's got SATCOM radios in it. It's got bullet holes in it too.
Wow.
We took it out there. Anyway, we found the ammo dump, and we was walking down through the trail, and this kid come out with AK-47. I pointed my gun at him. He's a young kid. I said, this ain't a good time to die, son. So he threw it down. We took him to the POW camp. And my job, while Vining and those guys were going to blow up this big, tons of stuff,
Yes.
my job was to wait on the trail and shoot anybody coming down the trail that was trying to get us, shoot anybody that had a weapon.
Yes.
So I'm there and I said, man, I hope nobody comes by. I had that little old MP5. And man, all of a sudden I heard something come around the corner. It's jungle, come around the corner there.
Yes.
So I let it up, and the guy had an old SKS rifle. So I was fixing to drop him. Then I heard somebody say, Papa, Papa. He had 2 little old girls, about 4 and 5 year old, running behind him. I said, I ain't doing it.
Right.
So I jumped out on him. I said, throw your gun down. And then I told him in Spanish, I said, go hide in the jungle till you hear a big explosion, and then you get out of here.
Yes.
So that made me feel good, not killing. And then later on, I don't want to get emotional, but
Sure.
later on when I was dying, I saw those 2
kids.
in my dreams. Now, did the Lord take care of me or not? I never crossed over to the black side. I never killed no women,
Yes.
children, or old
Yes.
people. And I think the Lord took care of me.
Yes.
And
Very much.
and I would love to be able to go back to Panama and just see how those kids made it
Exactly.
with their daddy.
Yes.
And that's a little side story. There's
That's such a wonderful
I have
story.
1,000. Like when we had Noriega covered, surrounded in that Vatican embassy.
Yes.
Well, we had this big high rise up there, and I needed to put some snipers out in case his people tried to
Sure.
save him.
Yes.
So we kicked the door in. This beautiful Panamanian lady came. I said, ma'am, we're going to pay for your door and everything, and I'm sorry. She said, I don't care. I said, I want y'all to get that guy out of here. I'm tired of listening to that loud music. We were playing music,
Yes.
you know, not to freak him out, but so the CNN couldn't hear what we were talking. They had them
Yes.
long-range things.
Yes.
So she said, ma'am, can I put, I said, I'd like to put 4 people out here. It's a sniper. She said, you can have the whole house, whatever. Like, I'll make y'all some cookies. Beautiful Panamanian lady, about 25 years old.
Okay.
I was speaking Spanish with her. She said, would y'all do me a favor? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, my husband got a DWI down in Florida 2 weeks ago. Can you help him? This is how, a little side story.
Yes.
Well, I said, who's your husband? She said, Roberto Duran.
The boxer.
Yeah. So we called and got that taken care of.
Unbelievable.
And we stayed there 20 days until we got Noriega out of there. And she brought us.
So Roberto Duran's wife
Yeah.
assisted in Noriega.
Yeah, no, I didn't say nothing about DWI. I just said with a traffic problem.
Yes. Yes.
And I researched that. He did. He had a DWI,
DWI.
and we helped him on that.
That's
So that's a little.
great.
That's one. You know, I could tell you stories about little Dominican kids. This little one kid. You know, they're all starving and everything. And
Yeah.
I spent 25 cents for 1 can of shoe polish. That kid fed his whole family for a month shining boots off one little
Off
kid.
one can.
Yeah, he didn't have 25 cents to buy.
You don't give them the food, you give them the
gave
fishing
more-
pole
I
to
gave
make
more-
it
I gave him more than 1 can.
something to use.
Yeah, And
What a wonderful gesture.
and we let him take our fatigues and our dirty clothes home for his wife, and she probably cleaned them in the river. We didn't care.
Exactly.
And so there's I know 1,000 stories like that.
So you got to
Throwing
give
cans,
because you
throwing
took care
cans,
of his
yeah,
children.
throwing cans of sea rations to little starving Korean kids. I don't know if you read that story or not. That's all. That's all true. And I think that's why God has protected me.
Yes.
I've always been for the underdog because I was a underdog.
Right.
I'm serious, bad.
No, you've made that clear.
When I was 10 years old, I was taking care of my old sick grandma. I'm talking about bathing her, putting a pot underneath her, cooking her oatmeal. That's 10 years old. Now 10-year-old kids can't do that no more.
No.
But you got to do what you got to do to survive.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember in school when kids wouldn't drink their milk and everything, I loaded up on that because that was my calories to get me through the day.
Exactly.
Harry did the same thing. But
That's amazing.
there's 1,000 stories. Let me go over this, see if we missed anything, since we only been here like an hour.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there was only one that I saw, and I
about deprogramming my children's accents.
Yes.
We'd come home on leave. My little daughter Jerry Lynn, and you met my son-in-law.
Yes. Yes. Is that his?
I had a daughter.
her husband.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had my brothers had a daughter named Lori and Kathy. Well, Lori was pure. I mean, you couldn't get no more Southern than the way she talked, man. Right out of the movies.
Yes.
Well, we'd spent a week with them, and on the way home, my little girl started talking just like her.
Of course.
So when I say deprogram, I just had to say, hey, we're going back to North Carolina, Fort Bragg. They don't talk like that up there, you know.
Yes.
And you can ask her now. My wife, we had to deprogram her.
I mean, did y'all teach her phonetics or something, or you just?
Yeah, and then Lori went on to be a principal. She's a big
Wow.
principal in one of the schools down in Lake Charles. She was principal at Kinder for a
Oh
while,
my gosh.
and but she spoke Southern.
Lori
Still,
Hennigan?
Uncle Jerry, you know, kind of stuff like that.
Her last
I don't
name is
want, yeah,
Hennigan?
huh?
Mrs. Hennigan is her name.
Yeah, Jerry Lynn
Okay.
Hennigan.
Jerry Hennigan, and she's a principal.
No, Lori
Oh, okay.
Young.
Okay. Got you. Okay.
Her father-in-law was one of the big school board guys down in Ross Young.
Okay. All right.
Now, let me talk about my son a little bit.
Yes. Okay.
My son Bobby was he was brilliant, like a scientist or something. In fact, at the Quincy High School, he was so smart. He was teaching the kids. He was teaching the teachers algebra and stuff like that. He was so far advanced. So we put him in that school
Louisiana school.
up there at Natchitoches.
Yes. Okay.
And he was doing so good up there.
That's excellent.
Well, when he come home, you know, I can tell you exactly. It was, let's see, November the 15th at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was chief of police, and the radio operator said, Jerry, get to your house where your wife's screaming on the phone. So I went there, to make a long story short. I went in, my son had took a revolver and blew his brain. I gave him mouth to mouth, but when the brain matter started coming out the ears, I stopped.
Sure. Yeah.
And Deputy Don Buxton came there and he held his hand. I had to console my wife. She was,
Of course.
and I just prayed, to God be the glory, whatever.
Yeah.
And he wrote a nice letter, and he said he wanted to see what was on the other side. This world was not good enough here for him. And he was well loved. The kids that came to my house to play with Bobby was a little black kid, Peyton, who was handicapped from legs, didn't have no legs down. A little kid that was so, in other words, the underdog kids
Yes.
went to Bobby,
Yes.
and they wrote all they wrote, and I got one of his yearbooks where they all wrote things like that.
That's
And his little friend named Mikey Basnot,
Yes.
that went all the way to school with him.
You talk about him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He drove, we finally got word to him, he took the wrong cutoff. He got on the wrong 12,
Yes.
and we were almost leaving the burial flight, and here comes
Mikey.
Mike and his little wife coming up. So we reopened the casket and he wanted to put something in there for Bobby.
Yes.
Then he come stayed a couple of days with his boy. He was driving this old car, didn't have no tires. I bought him 4 new tires, and we had his car ready to see. Well, about 6 months later, maybe a year later, 2 o'clock in the morning, his mama called Bobby and took a shotgun and killed himself. He wanted to go be with Bobby. So together in life, together in death. I put their little pictures in my book.
That's
I'm kind of stoic, you know. Bobby, he could have been killed in a car wreck or something.
True.
He made his own choice.
yes, yeah.
Mikey and Bobby, them two, they played together as kids on up, you know, till
Yes.
we left Fort Bragg.
Yes.
I've always wondered if I hadn't, but you can't wonder like that. If I hadn't, I could have went anywhere in the world. I chose to
Right.
come back here, but that ain't the way it
Yes.
works.
No, no.
Fate is when the Lord calls you, He calls you.
Yes.
But he obviously made a huge impression and a huge difference in a number of people's lives. So just like you.
And
so.
it took a long time for my wife. She didn't want to go anywhere,
Sure.
but she's accepted all that now. That's been, let's see, 1993.
Okay. So
That's a
yeah,
long
31
time.
years, something like
Yeah, he'd be 47 now.
Okay.
Him and Mikey were the same age.
Okay.
So that was Mikey was well loved at school. He won ever. One night he come in one late. He'd just come back from
Is it Mikey or Bobby?
Bobby.
Bobby, okay.
Bobby had come back from school. He'd got 7 awards, and he didn't even tell me and my wife that he was getting them. Every kind of accolade,
A humble man.
honors, national honor. He got everything. I said, we would have. I didn't want to bother y'all.
Oh gosh.
Oh, the Athena Project. You mentioned.
Oh, the
something
Athena
about
Project.
that.
Yeah, I was very instrumental in that. The Athena Project, going back to the old days, was where you trained female warriors.
Okay.
Well, we found out in the Delta Force that there was a place for females, because if you're sitting on a park bench watching something, if you're sitting with another man, it's suspicious, especially if you're all goon, you know.
Of course.
But if you're sitting with a female, it's nothing.
Exactly.
So our job was to train a bunch of these, and these were Olympic females. They were, they were great paratroopers,
Yes.
explosive people,
Yes.
and we put them through some very hard training. And the little story I wanted to tell you, we'd drop them off in the bad areas like Detroit City, and we'd drop them off in Washington, D.C. in the bad areas with no money and nothing.
Right.
They had to survive for weeks. And what we'd do, me and this other guy, and we got some Washington, D.C. uniforms, police uniforms, and we'd pick them up and interrogate them hard, like they were prostitutes.
Yeah.
And their job, they had a cover story and they had to stick with it. Most of them did.
Yes.
So we trained up a bunch of them. So months later, we sent them all over, doing different training. Here it is. Here. I was walking down through the hallway, and one of them was walking down, looked at me, and she said, I said, yeah. So she realized, that was training. Yeah, it was me,
That's amazing.
So when I went back to get my award in 2019 in the hallway, and they took me down and showed me all the different operations they'd just completed and all the cartel people they whacked and all this other stuff.
Yes.
I seen a bunch of these little old blonde-headed girls with machine guns walking down the hallway. So I said our project
Worked.
fruition. So we have those people, and they're very useful.
That's excellent.
You can put one of them out hitchhiking, and old Joe Arab will pick them up.
Of course.
I'm telling
And
you.
they're in.
And they are training explosives. They're training.
Wow.
There's some movies out now on Netflix called Linus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Linus, you ought to look at it.
I will
Where
definitely
these
look it up,
females,
yes.
they put these females in the Middle East and they get next to people and stuff like
Of
that.
course.
It's in the second.
That's why I'm so glad they did that. As a father of 2 daughters,
Yeah.
very strong women, and
Yeah, we finally have one finished Special Forces school
Nice.
and one finished Ranger school.
Nice.
And I led a platoon of Rangers in and they were happy to work with the Delta Force Commando in the Panama War. We cleared. General Boykin called me. He said, "Jerry, we got these. There's some snipers in these high rises. I need you to clear them out."
Okay.
I took off. Hey, wait. He said, you can't do it by yourself. You know, in Delta Force, somebody give you a mission, you go do it.
Exactly, yes.
They gave me a platoon of Rangers.
Wow.
So we went and cleared all this out because the reason we needed, we couldn't get Noriega out of the Vatican embassy.
Yes.
So me and this Chinese, Dr. Chen, we come up with the idea of having 15,000 Panamanians beat on pots and pans and move in closer and closer. And we sent word into the Archbishop of Panama that the president's not going to let us shoot these people. They're going to come drag him out like Mussolini.
Yes.
So they wanted us to clear those high rises so they couldn't shoot down into those people.
Yes.
And we put some agents in there. We caught a couple of guys with grenades and stuff like that.
Okay.
I remember on 3 January 1990, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, me and General Cisneros and General Downing went to the front gate of the Vatican Embassy. Noriega's chief bodyguard came out, El Cid. We talked to him. He said, Noriega wants to surrender, but he wants 3 things. He wants his uniform, his general uniform.
Okay.
He wants to call his wife. He wants us to promise not to kill him. Well, we agreed to that instantly. That ain't nothing.
Yes.
So we did that. We got his uniform to him. And about 9 o'clock that night, here comes the Archbishop of Panama with all his white coming through the fog. It looked like ghostly stuff.
Yeah.
Here come little Noriega, about that tall, 5'2".
Yes.
Come to the gate, we flex cuff him, me and Van Arsdale and Coburn. And I lead him across the road to an old Kentucky Fried Chicken place. We had 2 Blackhawks there.
Yes.
And I was walking way in front of him because I didn't know if the CIA was going to take him out or not. We were all darked out, but they got sniped. You know.
Right. Yes.
I didn't want to take a hit. You know.
Right, exactly. Yes.
About halfway across, he says, "Is this where y'all going to shoot me?" I said, "General, we're not going to shoot you. We don't." That wasn't in the plan.
Right.
And if we'd have caught him before he got in the embassy, I think we were going to get him.
Yes. Yeah.
But we got him on those 2 Blackhawks and flew him to Howard Air Force Base and put him on the back, turned him over to U.S. Marshals.
Okay.
You could see on TV sometimes that they show him in his flight suit.
Thought so. Yes.
We got him down to Florida. They tried him. He got 20 years. He served a lot of time. Then he went to Paris for 2 years. Then they put him under house arrest in Panama, and he died of cancer.
Wow, okay.
He converted to Christianity from Santeria. He was a witch. Some of the houses we raided, he had witchcraft. He had a donkey, roosters.
Yes.
He was wearing red drawers underneath his, the whole Santeria thing.
Yes.
We raided so many of his houses. One house we got $6 million in $100 bills out.
What?
So I know I can't be bought because I had $6
Right,
million, right?
exactly,
Me and my
yes.
team. We could have hit it in a sugarcane field.
Yes. Yeah.
We got 17 pillowcases full of diamonds and gold and
Gosh.
gold-plated pistols. I mean, he was
Yeah.
ripping off the nation.
He had. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
we'd drive up to a neighborhood, and the people are pouring out where his henchmen live. We'd go blow the door off, drag them
Remember
out.
hearing about that? Yes.
Yeah, we'd drag them out. We didn't hurt. We'd put them. We had 2 POW camps. One for his what you call dignity, but his goons, and then one for the regular Panamanian army that really didn't want nothing to do with Noriega,
Right.
but they were in the army.
Yes.
So we segregated those people
Yes.
because I interrogated a lot of them, and they were hardcore people. Man, they were just
Yeah.
So we got him, and then see, we had some more missions to. There was 10 pilots that were captured, and I don't want to get into too much, but we went and saved all of them.
Nice.
That's 10 more people with lives we saved. One of them was holed up, and we had a plane fly over and drop a 3,000-pound bomb close to it.
What?
You're never going to read about nothing like that. But they surrendered real quick.
Yes. Yes.
That was one of our new bombs. And
whatever way possible without.
and we were
harming
using
you.
them Apache helicopters,
Yes.
and we had A-10s. We had everything down. It was just like a big exercise. The Panamanian Army, they surrendered in like 2 days.
Right.
But then you had a few holdouts we had to
Sure.
go do. But that was one of my last big
Missions.
missions. When I was in, then they called me back a couple times, and They used to pick me up at the airport out here.
Here in the
Yeah,
Quincy, okay.
Quincy Airport.
Okay.
And I mentioned a little bit about some of that in that book might have happened.
Yeah, Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. And
Well, my last question is, at some point your descendants and people from your family will be seeing this for hopefully generations to come. Is there something you would want to tell them about you're inspiring and from nothing to...
I'm just saying, be true to yourself and try to help as many people as you can help. And if God has favored you, my wife and I, we give a lot of monies away to people that need it.
Yes.
I mean, my wife sent some money off yesterday. This lady, their husband's been down sick and I just say help as many people and be true to yourself, and there ain't but one God, and that's Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Thank you for that, and yeah, that's great wisdom and great advice.
These and what I've told you, I could multiply this 100 times. This is just a few stories out of 60 years.
Yes.
I didn't get into none of the police stories, the kidnappings, and the rapes, and the robberies, and
the time.
the little nine,
and
the CID,
Yes.
and the little 9-year-old that got kidnapped and raped.
Yes.
I talked to her daddy years ago at Fort Bragg. He was a general. He still hugged me.
Gosh.
He hugged me. He said he remembered that.
That's
I remember when that little case happened, the commander called me in because her daddy was like the comptroller, full colonel,
okay.
and Colonel Dowell said, Jerry, if you ain't never solved a case in the world, please solve this for me because I'm getting Washington's on me. This little girl was kidnapped and raped.
Yes.
So, and the story's in.
It's in the book, yes.
So we did. I solved that in 18 hours, and felt sorry for the little kid, this wife. He had 2 little twin babies, and when I told her, she started screaming.
Yes.
I had to testify in court.
Yes.
He got 33 years, probably spent 10 back where it was.
Hopefully.
That was one case out of 10,000 now.
Right. Yes.
I've done some big cases. My last big case here that I helped solve was just a couple years ago. It was a bank robbery.
Here in DeQuincy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I wrote a
Was it by a local person or was it a person?
two boys,
Okay.
and we caught them that night.
Okay.
They gave me both confessions, and I turned the case over to the FBI since.
There you go.
Yeah, because it was better. And the little FBI agent, he was so happy to work with us because the average police detective in a month works more cases than an FBI agent will work in 2 years.
Really?
They take years.
some time.
It takes a years for a
Yes.
case. We don't have
That's
years.
true. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Just a while back, I was working 160 felonies a year here in DeQuincy. We've got that down to 35 now.
Nice.
We have really. This is one of the safest.
That's a great sign.
I've went 3 weeks now without not even a single crime. I mean, and you got to worry about people driving through, not our local
Right.
citizens.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, people from all around us, you know.
Yes. Yes.
We have a joke here in the police department. We call this Fort DeQuincy. If you get off the reservation and come to the fort and mess up, you're gonna go to the stockade. And
I understand that name.
And
definitely.
I play a big role in that. And
Goodness.
before you leave, if you have a chance, I want to introduce you first
I would love to.
female chief of police.
I would love to meet.
And her
would
and
be
Stitch made history at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, Stitch first
That's
black.
Wonderful.
Yeah, me and Stitch were chiefs deputies together. We were chiefs of police. He was Westlake, I was here.
Nice.
He took my place in the sheriff's department.
Okay.
But Tony gave me a good job
Yes.
when he come in.
Great man.
Homeland
Great
Security. Yeah, they're real good. And we got a good DA, Stephen Dwight.
Yes.
I can't say enough about him.
Yes.
Good judges. Calcasieu Parish in good hands.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
Very
straight on.
much.
I deal with them every day, and
That's wonderful.
but I'm happy that
Thank you.
that you interviewed
I
me,
appreciate
and
it.
Honored to do this.
it's like when KPLC interviews me for 30 minutes. It's usually about a 20-second clip. So whatever you got to
Exactly,
do,
yes.
pick out the.
This is going to be a much, this,
Yeah, we're talking almost 2 hours here.
Yes,
So
yeah.
John Bridges and I are friends, and he
tell John I said help.
I will definitely.
He interviewed me several times for Hometown
Hometown
Hero.
Hero, exactly,
Yeah,
yes,
John's a good guy.
Very much.
His uncle was from DeQuincy, Oriel Bridges.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
preacher. He and I were Masons together.
Oh my gosh.
I've been a
okay.
Mason for 57
I
years.
knew that, yeah, from the book, yes.
Yeah. Shriner.
That's wonderful.
I got into that many years ago, and we help crippled children and stuff like that.
Thank you.
I will tell John.